The Seventh Amendment pertains to suits of common law where the value of controversy exceeds $20. The right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall otherwise be re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. The Seventh Amendment derived from the tyrannous actions of the English court system, where judges were seen as unfair and biased, only serving the king. They did not respect nor care about those who they sentenced. The creation of a jury and the right to a trial by jury was seen as a solution to these impartial decisions. The Founding Fathers developed the Seventh Amendment as a check against potential abuse of power in the government. The Seventh Amendment enabled the common man to possess some power in court matters. In the court case of Feltner v. Columbia Pictures Television, Inc., Columbia Pictures Television licensed several TV shows to Krypton International. Elvin Feltner, the owner of Krypton, became delinquent of their royalty payments, so Columbia Pictures entered in negotiations to restructure the debt. When that failed, Columbia Pictures revoked the license of the TV shows. The stations continued to broadcast the television shows, however. So Columbia Pictures sued for copyright infringement under Copyright Act of 1976. Columbia exercised its option under Section 405 of the Copyright Act to recover statutory damages of $500 to $2,000 instead of actual damages. Feltner requested a jury trial on the statutory damages issue, which the federal court denied. Feltner appealed to the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Ninth Circuit, which rejected his argument for a jury trial. The issue in this case was does Section 504 of the Copyright Act or the Seventh Amendment grant the right to trial by jury in case of statutory damages? The Supreme Court unanimously decided that Feltner was entitled to a jury trial on the issue of the amount of statutory damages. The Supreme Court ruled that the Seventh Amendment gave Feltner the right to have a jury trial on the case of statutory damages contrary to what the Copyright Act states. The significance of the Supreme Court's choice is to uphold the fact that the amendment laws are the supreme law. The Copyright Act states that the person suing for infringement can make the infringer pay for statutory damages, but the Seventh Amendment can still overrule the Copyright Act. In the court case Toll v. United States, the federal government sued a real estate developer for violation of the Clean Water Act. The government sued for over $22 million, arguing that Toll dumped fill material on 3 sites in a waterway. When the complaint was filed, most of the property that had been dumped on was sold, making the government's interjection pointless. The district court had denied the petitioner's request for a jury trial, ruling in favor of the government. Toll took this to the Supreme Court with the issue of whether or not the Seventh Amendment gave the right to a jury on cases pertaining to liability and the amount of penalty in an action instituted by the federal government. The Supreme Court unanimously voted for Toll, and it was determined that the jury decided liability while the judge determines the payment that is due. This set the precedent that the government must have a jury while suing companies for breaking laws pertaining to civil penalties.
In the 1996 case of Markman v. Westview Instruments, Herbert Markman had previously attempted to sue the Westview Instruments Company for infringing on his patent for a device that would track clothing through the laundry process using barcodes and a data processor. While Westview Instruments indeed had an identical product to Markman's, there was a difference in the patent's claim, which defines the scope of the patentee's rights. Markman's patent included a detail that it could maintain an inventory total. This detail was not present in Westview's patent. After taking his case to the district court, a jury found that his patent was indeed being infringed upon, but the judge himself ruled in Westview Instruments' favor. Angered by the seeming disregard for his right to trial by jury, Markman took it to the appeals court, and ultimately the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court came to the unanimous decision that judges, not juries, were more qualified to make decisions regarding the construction of a patent. This was a landmark decision for patent law, which set the precedent for all future cases in which a jury's decision did not parallel the judge's.